Turns out, losing her husband to a 30-year prison sentence isn't the first tragic thing to happen to Bijou Phillips. From a chaotic childhood to allegedly being exploited by Playboy, you won't believe what she's been through. Bijou Phillips is the daughter of the Mamas and the Papa singer John Phillips and actress Genevieve Waite, who had a multi-hyphenate career as an actress, singer, and model. Both parents struggled with substance abuse. According to her half-sister, Mackenzie Phillips, Bijou entered the world with drugs in her system. In her memoir, High on Arrival, Mackenzie confessed to splitting a Dilaudid tablet with her mother just hours before her little sister was born on a sofa. The pill was a powerful opioid pain medication. Mackenzie wrote, "Little Bijou, she has triumphed over incredible odds. Her story is her own, but my culpability is part of it. I witnessed the dangers of Genevieve's pregnancy. I shot up with her." Bijou was born 1 month early, and when the preemie became healthy enough to go home with her parents, the environment she found herself in wasn't exactly safe. Mackenzie recalled walking in the door one day to find her unsupervised baby sister using a box of cigarettes as a teething toy. She wrote, "She must have had 16 cigarettes in her mouth. I gently worked them out of her mouth and scavenged out the remaining bits. No wonder Bijou turned out to be a smoker." In his memoir, Papa John, John recalled how he and Waite attempted to go cold turkey when Bijou was just a newborn. Their behavior became so erratic that Mick Jagger and his then-girlfriend Jerry Hall temporarily took Bijou and her brother Tamerlane away from the couple while the group was celebrating the 4th of July weekend. During that time, John tried to burn his house down and crashed his car. When Bijou was a year old, her father was sentenced to 30 days in prison for his involvement in a drug ring. In a 2000 interview for Index magazine, Bijou said that she and her mother had nowhere to stay and no money while John did his time. She explained, "We slept on the street a couple of nights, in doorways, and we had to steal food." When she was around 3 years old, Bijou was placed in the care of foster parents. She recalled in a 2018 Instagram post, "When I was a kid, separated from my parents, I remember my mother coming and wanting to take me and just wanting to go with her so much. It's a pain I still feel." At age 14, Bijou Phillips was legally emancipated from her parents and began living in a New York City apartment on her own. She told Paper, "When I came to New York, I was like, bye-bye childhood." Her wild antics soon made her a tabloid darling. On The Howard Stern Show in 2000, she said that she began experimenting with various drugs, including acid and cocaine. She told Stern that she did heroin for 3 days after trying it for the first time, but claimed that she lied to her father about being addicted to the drug. She just wanted to get out of trouble for running up a $6,000 balance on his credit card. She knew he would send her to rehab, and she'd be off the hook.
And then I didn't know what to do, and I knew I had heroin in my system because I tried it 3 days before, and I'm like, I'm a junkie, I need to go to rehab. And
right, so you got nervous and you checked yourself in.
That was my out.
However, Bijou told Paper a different story, saying she sought her dad's help because she was left shaken after one of her friends, photographer David Sorrenti, died of a drug overdose in 1997. She attended his funeral and recalled Sorrenti's mother telling her, "Bijou, whenever you take a pill to keep you awake or to pass out, just remember that my baby is dead." This wasn't the only friend she lost. After actor Brad Renfro died of a drug overdose in 2008, Phillips told MTV News she'd known him since they were children and considered him a brother. They also worked together on the movies Tart and Bully. When Phillips was 14, she followed in her mom's footsteps by becoming a model. One of her first gigs was posing for a controversial series of photos for Calvin Klein, which she described as exploitative in her Index magazine interview. While being photographed, she recalled being asked disturbing questions by a male adult film star, whom her Index interviewer believed was allegedly Ron Jeremy. Phillips claimed, he goes, "What would it take to get your jeans off? I mean, I was like 14. I'd been flown in from boarding school to do this. So I said, if I had to take a shower, if I had to go to the bathroom." The ads were pulled and even investigated by the United States Justice Department to determine whether Calvin Klein had violated child exploitation laws by sexualizing underage models. No charges were filed after it was found that the models in the images that had caused offense were not underage. While Phillips's photos weren't considered provocative enough to get Calvin Klein in legal trouble, her distressing experience shooting them was not okay. She said, "It felt dirty and wrong." According to Phillips, her modeling career was short-lived because she found the entire industry superficial, cutthroat, and full of unpleasant people. She told Paper in 1997, "You really have to be in La La Land to be a model. People in that business are such vultures." Director Larry Clark's 2001 movie Bully was based on the true story of a group of teens and young adults who plotted and carried out the murder of their bully.
He's the source of everybody's troubles.
Are we really gonna do this?
For Bijou Phillips, the dark subject matter wasn't what disturbed her the most about shooting the graphic film. In 2002, she told The Guardian she'd been in a car crash and was recovering from a punctured lung during filming, but Clark allegedly made her shoot scenes that called for her to smoke cigarettes. She was also furious when she learned that the camera had zoomed in on her crotch in one scene. In another interview with the same publication, she said, "What the f*** is that? That's not okay. It's like, okay, Larry, yeah, you're a pervert. The whole world knows you're a creepy pervert. Do you have to rub it in everyone's face?" When Clark attempted to defend the scene in an interview with The Age, what he said about it seemed unprofessional, disrespectful, and arguably just plain gross. He said, "Bijou's perfect for the role, and if she turns up in no panties, I'm gonna make the shot. I have no justification. I just like the shot." He also shared that his girlfriend at the time had originally convinced him to cut the exploitative scene under the threat of dumping him if he did not, but Clark later changed his mind. Phillips told Index magazine that she was 15 or 16 years old when she allegedly lost her virginity to Lemonhead's lead singer, Evan Dando, who would have been almost 30 at the time. Phillips claimed Dando tried to convince her that he was madly in love with her and wanted to make her his wife, but he dumped her 4 days later. Sadly, instead of being outraged over being taken advantage of, Phillips placed some of the blame on herself for ending up in that situation. She said, "I was just naive, but he was a rock star, and I had this daddy thing. I thought it could make my dad jealous if I was dating a cute young rock star." On the Howard Stern show, she noted that she was so hurt that it took her 6 months to recover from her broken heart. She revealed,
No, I was like lying in bed, like banging the bed, like hysterical.
When Phillips spoke to the Blaring Out show in 2001, she explained why she posed for Playboy. She claimed, "They had pictures of me when I was a kid, naked." According to Phillips, the magazine was threatening to publish those photos if she didn't agree to do a photo spread. You might assume that the magazine would get into legal trouble for printing the images it was allegedly blackmailing her with if she was underage in them. However, in the Secrets of Playboy docuseries, former Playmate Promotions director Mickey Garcia claimed that Playboy got away with publishing photos of underage models by waiting until they were 18 to do so. Phillips felt regretful over her pictorial, saying that she wasn't proud of her decision to follow through with it. She told Index magazine she was supposed to be given the final say over which photos were used for her pictorial. On the Howard Stern show, she claimed that this didn't happen, and she was specifically upset over the publication of a photo of her pouring oil on her body. Instead of sympathizing with Phillips, Howard Stern scoffed when she told him she'd wanted her photos to be artistic. He then proceeded to shame his guest for having pubic hair in her photos.
Why all the hair?
Why not? It's natural. That's who
guys
I am.
don't like that.
I'm not doing it for guys.
Yes, you are.
In High on Arrival, Mackenzie Phillips claimed that she was raped by her father. She also alleged that she began having sex with him regularly while in a drug-induced haze, and that the incest eventually became consensual. After Mackenzie appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 2009 to discuss the allegations made in her memoir, Phillips released a statement saying that Mackenzie had told her about the alleged incest when she was 13. This placed her in the difficult position of deciding whether to accept her sister's word as truth. She said, "This news was confusing and scary, as I lived alone with my father since I was 3. I didn't know what to believe, and it didn't help that shortly thereafter, Mackenzie told me it didn't happen." However, Bijou later fired off a series of posts on X, formerly known as Twitter, in which she made it clear that she didn't believe Mackenzie was telling the truth. Bijou also slammed Mackenzie for waiting until after their father had died to share her story with the public. She tweeted, "Allegations of sexual abuse are not only hurtful, but malicious when he is not here to defend himself." According to Bijou, her relationship with John Phillips deteriorated after Mackenzie first told her about the alleged incest. She wrote, "I moved out to NYC at 13, started doing drugs, did not talk to my dad anymore. I was deeply up." Complicated doesn't begin to describe Bijou Phillips's relationship with her parents. In her angry tweets about Mackenzie Phillips's incest claims, she revealed that she and John Phillips had a falling out that lasted until the year prior to his death in 2001. She wrote, "I'm sad I lost those years with him, and I lost those years at home. But because John and her mom used drugs so frequently, she often lacked stability at home, and her parents were seemingly poor role models." She told Index magazine, "I'd never been shown respect by my parents. I'd always been treated like an object, not like a human." Still, Bijou was devastated when her father died of heart failure at age 65. The loss seemingly made her view her father in a more positive light, as she chose to reflect back on the good times. She told The Guardian in 2002, "My dad was a great dad. He took me to school every single day, made me breakfast, picked me up, made me dinner." Bijou also had nothing but praise for her mother, Genevieve, after she died at age 71 in 2019. She said in a statement to People, "My mother was a gift, and I will miss her every day, in everything I cook, and in everything I sing, and in everything I do without her wise guidance." After TMZ reported that Phillips had to be hospitalized for a blood infection in 2017, a rep for the actor told the outlet that Phillips had been suffering from kidney disease for years. Her health had deteriorated to the point that she was undergoing dialysis and was hoping to receive a kidney transplant from a friend. Before her disease took such a serious turn, she had tried going vegan in hopes that it would improve her condition. According to the underground bunker, Bijou possibly believed that her health would benefit from her belief in Scientology. A Church of Scientology insider said, "Unfortunately, Scientology did nothing to improve her condition as promised in Dianetics." The source also said that Scientologists would consider Bijou's blood infection a sign of being a PTS, or a potential trouble source. Scientologists believe that a PTS has an SP, or a suppressive person in their life who is negatively affecting them in some way. 2 months after Bijou's hospitalization, Danny Masterson shared an update on his wife. He wrote on Instagram, "My lady has been slowly dying for the past 7 years of an incurable kidney disease. She was given the gift of an encore by a tall angel. Now the real work begins for her to silence any chance of rejection." Bijou Phillips couldn't hide her distress when her husband was found guilty of 2 counts of rape in May 2023.
The 47-year-old was sentenced to 15 years to life for both convictions to be served consecutively.
Journalist Tony Ortega told Inside Edition, "When the verdicts were announced, I heard this wail. And I mean, it was this otherworldly sound. That sound came from a distraught Phillips. She would later try to help her then husband get a lighter sentence by writing a character letter for the judge in his case to consider. It read in part, "Danny is an amazing father. Our daughter and I are heartbroken that he is not home with us. It has been very difficult without him here." After Masterson learned that he would be spending the next 3 decades in prison before becoming eligible for parole, a source claimed to the Daily Mail that Phillips was afraid that he might get killed in prison. The insider said, "The stress that is bringing her is on its own level of stress that she never has felt before." While Phillips ultimately decided to divorce Masterson that September, she may not be completely cutting ties with the man she was married to for over a decade. According to attorney Holly Davis of Kirker Davis LLP, Masterson and Phillips's divorce could be a strategy to shield some of their assets from potential future civil lawsuits. Whatever the case may be, it's truly tragic that someday Phillips will have to tell their daughter Fiona the dark truth about her father. If you or someone you know may be the victim of child abuse, please contact the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-4-A-CHILD. That's 1-800-422-4453. Or contact their live chat services.